Here's some spicy text going into a near tier 0 format. What's going on, fellow tryhards? It's Tom Tracker Gaming, bringing you back a brand new video. And today we're going to go over some of my favorite spicy techs for this upcoming Phantom Nightmare format. So as many of you have already found out, that there's going to be some really strong decks here in the room, just because of the current release of Snake Eye Poplar and the Promethean Princess Link. So these two cards are really going to strengthen just the pure Snake Eye variant, as well as Rescue Ace Original Simple Spoil, as well as the Fire King Snake Eye build. So these cards are going to really play up, mainly maintain out of the graveyard and kind of be able to bounce things around in and out of the graveyard with ease. So with that being said, these are some of the techs that you're probably going to need, or that your opponent might not even see coming. And there's some of these that won't even be just for Snake Eye, they're going to be for a good portion of the meta. Not to mention that there's also a few that are going to be able to take care of some of these other rogue matchups. Let's go ahead and get into it. So first up on the list is Different Dimension Grounders. Everybody calls it DDG. So for those who don't know, this is a normal trap card that is that allows you to banish all monsters that would be sent to the graveyard this turn. So it's pretty much a shifter, a one-turn shifter that's able to banish everything. That pretty much does the same thing as shifter. Every monster that gets sent to the graveyard is banished instead. So this puts a wrench in a lot of different decks. This can do a lot to Virtual World. This can do a lot to Fire King, to any of these major decks that are currently playing. It really hurts Raid Raptor too if we do see Raid Raptor make just like a come up in this format. That card is really going to take a really large beating. Or this people are going to use this card as much as they can, just for the pure fact that it's going to be able to take care of most of the decks, if not all of them. So the only deck that this really doesn't really pertain to is Kashtira and the bird deck, so Floowandereeze. So these are the only two decks that really aren't going to get hit by that whole mess of cards. And you could probably utilize them to the best of your ability. But the good thing about this card is, where it's only during the turn you flip it, you're able to use it even if you are a graveyard deck. So for those who want to still play this card, who are a graveyard deck, this is not a bad idea to try to run it. Also, Labyrinth will probably be able to best utilize this because, one, it's a normal trap, and two, it doesn't banish their traps whenever they hit the graveyard. It only touches monsters. So still a very good card, and I think this card is going to be seen quite a bit in the upcoming format. Next card I kind of want to go over. I've used this personally. I mentioned it in my Kashtira Raid Raptor deck profile. Gravekeeper's Inscription is probably by far one of my favorite going first techs that I've gotten to use this format so far. You have to crack it off immediately in the beginning of your main phase 1. It has to be the first thing you activate during your main phase. But it has 3 different effects. You can either prevent cards from activating their abilities in the graveyard, you can prevent cards from being banished from the graveyard, or your opponent can't special summon, or neither player can special summon from the graveyard. So it affects both players, and it's 2 turns. So the turn you activate it, and the next turn during your opponent's turn, pretty much, they can't do any of those. One of the 3 things that you pick. So I got to use this against Rescue Ace, and of course I went, you can't banish things from graveyard. That really throws a big wrench in the whole plan, because again, they need that to get Preventer off. They need that to be able to bring out Turbulence. If they add it to hand, it shuts off everything. They're not even able to, they don't even have the opportunity to special that unless they have Emergency. So you're really going to put a hurt in a lot of those things. But the most important effect on that card for this format is going to be monsters can't activate card effects in graveyard. Why is this important? Well, any of the Snake Eye stuff right now. So specifically Flamebird's Dragon, which is one of their main combo starters, extenders, that kind of thing. You're going to need to activate that card in graveyard, because if it's sent to the graveyard effect. And then on top of all this, Promethean Princess can't even use her effects. So you're going to be bottlenecking a lot of their plays and kind of narrowing it down to where there's a choke point where you're going to be able to like drop a hand trap or do some sort of other interaction or drop a negate or something on them, and it's going to shut down a good portion of the combo. Not completely shut them down, because again, this deck is highly resilient. It is possible to stop it with certain hand traps, but this card I think is going to come up quite a bit post side. I wouldn't main this card, but I would definitely look into it as a sideboard option. Up next, I kind of want to go over a blanket term, I guess, or a blanket style card, which is going to be Kaiju style cards. Now this does kind of sound odd for most, I would say, but I think Kaijus in this upcoming format are going to be a little bit stronger than what people realize, because they get around the whole destroy clause with all the Fire King stuff, as well as being able to, if your opponent, as long as you don't use like Dogoran or like Lava Golem, which I think Lava Golem is still pretty good if you're going second, because you're able to just drop a Lava Golem on somebody, get rid of an SP, and maybe even get rid of a Turbulence or get rid of something so that your opponent can't really crack off what they need to get off in order to mess up your turn. So I would say these are gonna, like, your main ones are gonna be like Gamma Seal. Any of these other Kaijus that are going to be really important, you're going to want to use these and probably utilize them here soon. And not just for Fire King, but for Raid Raptor. Raid Raptor, you got to remember, guys, the new card that they have that came out in Phantom Nightmare is a rank 13 unaffected Bungus that you cannot get rid of unless you like evenly matched and they have more than one of them, which from what I've been testing with, this inboard does end on 2 of them. So you're really going to have to be careful with how you play around the deck. So being able to just drop a Kaiju or a Lava Golem over them and just being able to end it there is way more important than what you think. As of right now, I don't know if I showed, I think it should be in my my Kashtira Raid Raptor build, but if I'm not mistaken, I run Lava Golem for that specific reason as of right now. And I've used it against like Vanquish Soul and a few other decks, and being able to just drop a Kaiju on somebody out of nowhere, or like a Lava Golem, it is really, it's devastating to the point where they can't play the game. So look into your regular like 1 Kaijus, the one that just tribute off 1. Look into your Lava Golems, and Sphere Mode may be one of the weird ones where it might not be the best option right now, but you might be able to catch some of these people overextending with it as well. So I would just kind of stick to the 1s and the 2s for now for the Kaijus, but I believe those are going to be coming up here quite often here soon as well. The next one I kind of like to go over is another trap card, of course, that is going to see, I think it's going to see a lot of play, especially in Labyrinth. Again, any sort of normal trap is going to see at least some play in a Labyrinth deck in one way, shape, or form as a tech option. Well, this one I think is going to be able to be used as a good going first target, maybe even a thrust target. But you have to be careful playing thrust in this format. I personally don't like it because you walk face first into draw, because we are entering another draw format. Yay. But the card that is in question here is Magic Deflector. So for those who don't know, for the rest of the turn after this card is activated, negate all equip field continuous and quick play spells, or quick play card effects on the field. So any sort of equipped field spell continuous quick play is just negated. So this turns off any of the runic stuff. This turns off Wanted. This turns off the Sanctuary. It turns off Fire King Island. Turns off a lot of the Goblin stuff too. This turns off Grand Bash, so I can't do anything I want to do for level modulation if I so choose to do so. It turns off a lot of the rank. It turns off King Sark too, so for those playing against Horus, it just turns off that as well. This card I think is going to be, very impactful, more impactful than what people think. Being able to kind of shut stuff off in a especially most like a third of the game, because again it's monsters, traps, spells. I think being able to shut off a good portion or a little under a third of the game is going to take a big chunk out of what people are trying to do. So this card might be a card to keep in your toolbox and may be able to play in your main board on occasion. So the last card I'd like to go over is another counter trap. This card is Iron Thunder. It just came out in the newest Phantom Nightmare set. And what it does is whenever a spell, trap card, or a monster effect is activated on the field, you can pay half your life points, then negate the activation, and if you do destroy that card, then any other cards in the same column destroyed that this card was in that are in the monster or spell trap card zones. So you might want to be careful where you place your monsters as well. So if you're going through all this, You're probably going to want to put this underneath the EMZ or one of the EMZs so you can just blow up everything in the row. It's going to catch a lot of people off guard because the moment you set something that's not in the imperm column, you can put your imperm in the pendulum column, and most people will kind of be like, oh, we know exactly what that is. But the thing here is, if you set both that and an Iron Thunder, and then you're just able to blow up everything in the same EMZ in the whole line right there. So, but you have to be careful. If you don't want to blow up your own stuff, then you kind of want to place your monster strategically and just go over. Just make sure you're not sticking that card underneath any of the cards that you don't want to get blown up. Or if you're running Red Raptor, you can put it in the monster zone that it's that unaffected monster like Rising Rebellion Falcon or Ultimate Falcon is in, and stick it right underneath them, and they are unaffected when it goes off. So you're able to just kind of protect your own stuff from doing that, or from being blown up by your own card effects, but you're also able to get a negate off of that as well. Well, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know down in the comments if I missed any of your favorite spicy techs that you're going to be using in this upcoming format. I'm really pumped to get into this Phantom Nightmare format. I don't like that it's a droll format per se, but I am really excited that I'm going to see a lot of these older decks that I've missed playing, and I've been playing for these past few months, and I'm finally getting to get the actual cardboard in my hands to play. Guys, make sure you keep an eye out here soon. I will be doing a full case unboxing of Phantom Nightmare. It'll be within the next week or two. We have it ordered. It's been ordered for a while. We're just waiting to get it in. Once we get it in, you guys will be the first one to know. I'm either going to be doing a live stream on it, or I'm going to just go ahead and open it and then post the full video here on the channel. Keep an eye out in the Discord. Check out the description below where I will be putting the Discord link. Be a fellow tryhard with us in the Discord. But guys, I really do appreciate you being around and sticking around for so long. My name's Tom with Tryhard Games. We'll see you next time. See you guys.